What's up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Today, the top 10, my top 10 for creating successful sync licenses. And the doodle's always in the shot, you know? All right, so there's a lot of important things about doing sync, and there's 10 things that come to my brain that are just super important, not hard to do. Number one, follow the brief. I know this kind of seems really obvious, but follow the brief. Do your homework on the possible client. If you know what show it's for, watch that show. The brief is going to be king, but also know what the show uses. That's super important. If you don't know the show, then follow the brief. In my experience, you can go a little outside of the brief if you have a gut feeling, but don't give them left field. If they're asking for rock, don't give them tropical house. I know if they're asking for rock, maybe you could veer a little pop punk. There's subgenres in that you can take a chance on, but follow the brief. Number two, have or create a template. If you don't have one, create one. Create one, I suggest, based off of successful tracks before. There's a lot of things that make a successful sync track. Number three, this one's going to be an odd one. Always be in record. When you're writing, when you are fleshing out ideas, even if you throw up some drums, a drum loop or something to kind of create a feeling, be in record. I can't tell you how many times I have come up with something super cool and like, what did I just do? And the times I'm in record, it's no big deal. I go back and figure it out. Sometimes I even video myself so I know where I was playing it. Take advantage of technology. This is where technology is your friend. Always be in record, and maybe roll your iPhone too if you're feeling like I've done some stuff before and I don't remember what I did. Where did I play that? How did I do that? There you go. Number four. This one is huge. They're all huge, but this one's really, really important. Let me just take a minute between these 2 points and say, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content, please subscribe to my channel. There's a ton of other stuff on here that is relative to a lot of different things in sync and music. I would appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe and help me grow the channel and make more videos. This one is huge. They're all huge, but this one's really, really important. Less is more. This could be microphones used on something. This can be instrumentation. Make it easy for yourself and don't cloud the track and clutter it up with a bunch of stuff. And this leads into the next one. Commit to a sound also. Don't leave yourself analysis paralysis, endless options of plugins and everything else. There's so many cool tools we have, but just commit to a sound. You can always write another track. Commit to a sound and go with it. And if you end up not liking where it's going, stop, start another track and save that one. I can't tell you how many times I go back to something and go, that's really cool. That's going to work for this. When I get a brief, sometimes I'll go through these cataloged ideas that I have, and I'll get inspired to come up with something cool off of one of those ideas that I didn't like for something else. So commit to a sound. Don't endlessly tinker. If you're not feeling it, open up another track, do something else, or open up another song and do something else. Okay, the next one. There's actually two that kind of tie together. If there's a vocal, use generic themes. Good times, partying, winning, going for the score, the weekend, as in Friday, Saturday, Saturday, Sunday, not the band. use generic things that can be very broad, that can work for a lot of stuff. Don't use dates. Don't obviously stay away from the obvious things. I'm just going to leave that there and not even say, because y'all should know what those things are. So, and this leads into the next one. This is number 7. Always have an instrumental of that available. Always print an instrumental. There's also some libraries are going to require stems. So that would be if you have, let's say you have drums, bass, 2 electric guitars, a vocal, and a keyboard. Print an instrumental version without the vocal. Maybe print a version without the keyboards, both vocal version and non-vocal version. Then print a drum and bass only. Then print just a guitars, bass, and drums instrumental. And print a keyboards, bass, and drums only instrumental if the keyboard part is interesting enough. Give yourself options, give the editors options. Libraries will include what they think the editors will use. They will automatically usually hold back the things they don't think will work, or they'll just have them available but not pitch them. Do a little bit of extra work up ahead of time, and you give yourself a ton of options, give the editors a ton of options. They love options. Don't print individual stems. The editors are not remixers. They don't want a drums only, and a bass only, and a guitars only. There's sometimes where I do a drums only, if it's a really exciting part, if it's really just a crazy exciting drum part, lots of fills and lots of energy and everything else, I will do that. Otherwise, do not print individual stems. In my experience, the libraries hate that. All right, number 8, change or add an element every 4 to 8 bars. Now, this is going to be dependent upon tempo, but every 4 to 8 bars, something should change to keep the listener interested in what's going on in the background while listening to the sportscast over the top or something else. Or especially if the music's alone, that movement makes sure things don't get stagnant. It builds emotion, emotion changes, ebbs and flows. Super, super important. It doesn't have to be a major thing either. It can be one element. You can bring in a tambourine. You can bring in a shaker. You can bring in a little keyboard part. You can drop out one guitar. You can have a simple little background guitar melody that's simple melodies only. Brings us to number 9. Keep the elements that compete with the VO out of the way. This should be obvious as well, but no excessive cymbals, no guitar soloing, no keyboard soloing. Your job in creating sync music is to support the dialogue or the VO or the scene or whatever's going on. There's rare occasions where it will call for that, but they'll usually be very specific and ask for it. So as a general rule, don't do it unless asked. Number 10. And this, arguably, I should have counted backwards from 10 to 1, because this is the most, to me, the most important little detail that will keep your track from getting used. Sting ending. What is a sting ending? A sting ending is a abrupt, it's just an end. It's not a fade out. It's not a long fade and the music keeps playing. It's a, pow, or a drum hit, or just a button ending, a tight cut point. You can even go as far as to create a little false ending inside of the track at like 1 minute to give editors an edit point. I do that often too. That is important too, but that's not necessarily something that I find to be a deal breaker most of the time, because they're going to they'll cut down the version. Or if it's certain libraries, you're delivering edits of that tune as well. So you're already delivering shortened versions with that sting ending. So sting ending, super, super important. We're heading into 2024. I hope this helps you guys create successful sync tracks, get the job. There's tons of work out there. So much work out there. Go get it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video.